Hello, and we are live. Welcome, Joe, and welcome, Jayne.
Hi.
Hi, and I think we also have Colin on the line, which we've said hello to Colin. Hi, Colin. And we've got 21 people registered in total, but welcome everybody to how to get over yourself with video. And Colin says hi again. So we all three of us are really looking forward to this. And we are actually quite excited because it was an organic podcast that happened whereby Jayne and I set up a podcast about video because I'd met Jayne at a conference and we were talking about video and things to do with video and getting over yourself with video, and we did an initial video podcast, and Joe came on the line and I invited her onto the video. We started chatting and realized that actually this is something we wanted to follow up on and do an official podcast to provide value to people who were struggling with video. So Joe and Jayne, if you could quickly introduce yourselves. And if I just quickly say, my name's Rachael Orchard, I'm a leadership coach, and this thank you to the sponsor, which is Passion Toolset, which is my business, which is all about getting leaders to stay awake. So thank you to Joe and Jayne. Would you like to both introduce yourselves?
Yes, so I'm Jo Cook. You might know me on Twitter as Lightbulb Joe. You can go and link in with me if you want to. And my business is all about helping people to develop, design and deliver webinars and virtual classrooms. And part of that is using webcams and appearing on video. Part of that is blended learning, which could include video, and part of that is being a business owner and needing to do marketing and promotion, which often includes video. So there's all sorts of different angles on that, and having gone from through to feeling relatively comfortable now, it's an interesting journey and one I discuss a lot. So Jayne, over to you.
Thank you, Joe, and thank you, Rachael. So I'm Jayne, and I'm a software trainer. I specialise in video. I have my own company, Ravion Limited, and so I teach people how to make videos and help businesses embrace video. So it's something that is very personal to me, and I need to get over being on video myself.
Thanks, Joe and Jayne. And we've got people streaming on as we speak, so we're just letting them come on. Hi, everybody. You're very, very welcome. Please do ask questions. There's on the right-hand side, there's an ability to put your threads in there, or even down the bottom to ask questions. This is going to be a very interactive session. So we're very focused in what we want to look at, which is, what has us overwhelmed with video? What stops us? Firstly, and then start to look at the solutions at the end. So hi Jack, and hi Tracy. And so really over to the three of us, and I think certainly with Jayne, that was the conversation that we started talking about. So for me, it wasn't that I was so much stopped by getting on camera, because I wasn't so phased about being on camera, but I think a lot of people, when they record video, are. So really, let's girls, if we can just start to talk about some of the things that generally is stopping people getting onto video initially. Joe, Jayne, what have been some of your experiences of people that you've worked with and stopping them getting onto video?
Okay, so maybe I should start, since I'm the one that's really, really nervous. I'm really nervous now. Okay, I made my first video about 2 years ago, and because it is just so now, and I see my boys, just they get the phone, they video everything, and they're just so confident, and it's just so easy. And I just have this willingness, I want to do it myself, but it's having the nerve and the courage to do it. So I have written a note. I have sort of brainstormed what does stop me. So some of these things might resonate with you. Some of you might think, oh, what's she talking about? It's a load of rubbish. But anyway, so I'm just going to say it as I wrote them down. Just thinking that I'm not good enough, or I don't have the skills. I'm going to say the wrong thing. Will I stutter over my words, and will I just ramble and stumble? I'm concerned about people, what they will think of me, how they will judge me, which I know is really stupid. And also I have a really bad memory. So, and I think the nerves get the better of me. So I stumble and then I just forget the most silly words. Always that sort of self-critical, and this is possibly one that we might all feel. You know, I know what I don't like about myself. And I've shared this with Rachel and Joe before. It's like, well, I've never have noticed that of your teeth or your, you know, I have a bit of a slanty smile, which is, I don't know why, but it bothers me. It really bothers me. So we are, Jack. I am my worst enemy, but I'm just trying to deal with it. So yeah, what other self-critical things you must have yourself?
I thank you for kicking us off, Jayne. I do agree. So when I said it didn't bother me, I think what I did was, because I was a coach and I was doing a lot of webinars, I'd practice on the screen. So I would practice recording myself, and I got over all those things. So I agree with you. Like, what do I look like? Do I look nice? Am I wearing the right things? Is my hair all right? My face all right? There's some things about our faces that we can't change, and then I think the biggest thing, like yourself and Jack said about credibility, of why would anybody want to listen to me? But for me, I got a lot of that out of the way, because I was, as I say, practicing recording lots of Facebook live videos and then deleting them, and then I was using the Google one, Google channel. What's it called, Joe? I've forgotten now. One before you, because they went onto YouTube, but Google Hangouts. So I was using Hangouts, and I was doing those, and I was using lots of Zoom privately, and so I was practicing and getting over that. But I think maybe some people don't know that they can practice, and then they don't have to. Because Joe made the comment about, is it live or is it pre-recorded? So did you want to touch on that, Joe? Of, are there ways that people could do that to get over that initial, I don't like how I look, and getting used to how you look and how you sound?
I think the getting over how we look and how we come across is a real challenge, and that's a lot dependent on our own self-beliefs, upbringing, how we actually look, how we respond to those things, and that's a much bigger issue than we can deal with today, obviously. Yeah. But assuming we're within a certain tolerance of normality, I will use that normal word, even though that's not a very good one. Yeah. Part of it is just accepting who you are, you know, wonky teeth, wonky eyebrows, you know, whatever it is included. And as I said in chat, most people don't necessarily focus as much on those things. So when I look back at this, I'll hear my voice a certain way and the things that I know I don't do very well. And I'll look and I go, oh my God, I've got frizzy hair. And other people are just like, what? Well, I see her gorgeous curls. So it really is, I think, partly just kind of completely trying to turn that round and just going, you know what, there are people here and listening, and focusing on that from a confident point of view. Making the most of what you can. So that could be with makeup for men as well on video. That could be powder if they're sweaty, or lighting so it's not on so much highlighting, maybe not the best part of the hairline. You know, so some of it is about setup, and some of it is about, so what if I've got a wonky tooth? So it's loads of other people. So what if my eyebrows aren't quite straight and in line? Who cares? Because people aren't here to look at my eyebrows. This isn't a beauty channel. This is to talk about topic X. Then you get into the imposter syndrome. Have I got anything to share, and so on? Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I'm reading comments, and Colin's, and yeah, everyone's saying it's a male thing as well, because Colin said it, and then Jayne, did you say your husband as well?
Absolutely, yeah.
Thing. So yeah. It applies across the board. And I think one thing Colin said, which I agree with, is once you get on camera and you just keep doing it, you actually do start to forget, because there'll be, you know, I'll come on and I'll be panicking in my head going, oh, is that right? Oh, my microphone's wonky, or whatever. And you've got all the things going on in your head, or, oh my gosh, the dog is barking in the background. And but I think you just learn after practice just to continue and just
get in the moment, I think. because right now, until you mention, a wonky this or sign or background or dogs, we're not focusing on that. We're focusing on the questions and the comments and getting through all the material that, we wanted to discuss. So it's being very in the moment. And I think being in the moment handles a lot of anxiety issues, regardless of wherever that is.
Yeah.
And so I think that's an important part of it too.
Yeah, and Jayne just said she forgot she was on camera. Woo!
I did.
Thank you, Jayne. No.
So I was concentrating on the chat and your lovely selves, and then I just, in the moment, it's not a camera. And then I saw the little blue light flashing.
Yeah.
Oh, I am on camera. Smile.
Yeah. And Jo just made a good point. I think the more you practice it, and certainly Jo with where she's at and her experience, you do absolutely learn to focus on who's there, what are we delivering, and all of that just becomes subsidiary. It's really not important. A really good thing Jo did with me, a podcast I did with her, I think she saw, I think it was you, Jo, she saw that maybe I was a bit up high and I needed to just level with you. Let's just do a few breathing. And it was just, we breathed a bit, because sometimes you also said, I think, Jo, sometimes people are a bit low and you need to bring them up high. So good things to do with things like this before you go on video is to come in the chat room with each other and find out if you need to bring the person down or bring them up a bit with their energy.
Yeah.
So I'm not reading the screen, so I don't know if anybody's saying anything. Jack said, podcasting helped me feel more comfortable on video. That's a good point, Jack.
Practicing those same skills of the brand, the imposter syndrome. What you want to share? Will people judge you? What have you got that will add any value without the video elements? That can be more comfortable as a first step. And also, unless it's a live podcast, that can be edited. And I think that's another thing. If you're not sure about it, to do it and edit it in some fashion, or get someone to edit it, or do 39 takes if you want to, until you get the one that you are least unhappy with, and share that one, rather than, or just jump in the deep end and do something like we're doing today, which is completely live, and go for it.
And actually, I agree with Jack. Sorry to agree with everybody, but I am, that she likes to get it right first time. She doesn't like to edit. I've never edited any of my videos unless I've put some private training where I've needed to edit certain bits for the people I'm coaching. But I don't know whether, again, I'd like to hear what Colin says and what Jo says, but I don't believe, and Jayne, I don't believe in editing things. If you kind of know the direction that you're taking and you're answering the key points, why do you need to edit it? Because it's authentic. I don't know what.
There are two elements here. I think it depends on the type of video you're doing. If you're doing conversational, panel discussion, interview, and you're going for an authentic feel, then great, go for it. There are some instances where you want something to be more slick, more focused, where you need the editing. And Jayne can speak to that far more than I can. And of course, Colin in the chat window. Yeah.
Tracy just said, I don't edit my car videos. It's one and done BC of time because of time frame. Only once did I stumble on my words and re-recorded. It wants it to be authentic. I'm totally, high five there, Tracy, high five.
Tracy, I've seen your videos and I'm just in awe of how you do it. And I'm that's what I want to be like. But going back to what Rachel was asking, I edit nearly everything, but I am trying because I want to go back and I look to see what I, look like, what I sound like, have I tripped over my words? But it could be to do with my background, because my background is making corporate professional videos. So they have, and they're for external clients a lot of the time. So the quality has to be polished. So it could be just, I'm trying to do these personal little videos now where I'm trying to make it that it doesn't have to be so polished. I don't know if you're familiar with video walks. Nikki, I think she's joined us today, but recognizing people are nervous about getting on camera and encouraging people to just grab the smartphone, go out for a walk, so you get a bit of exercise as well. There's a different theme every month, and you don't have to be in the video yourself, you don't have to edit it, but it's an opportunity. It's sort of inviting people, just grab your phone, go out for a walk. And I must say, It has encouraged me. I've done a few. The first ones, I didn't include me and I didn't include my sound. And then the second one, I got a bit more confident and I did some talking over it. And then the third one, which was a Halloween theme, I actually turned the camera and thought, I can do this. You know, it's a nice environment. And I put the smartphone towards me and I actually did some video. I'm not happy with it. I still edited it slightly, or I checked it, but I'm getting better. I think practice is better, you know, making, not perfect by a long mean, but improving.
Thanks, Jayne. It's really useful because just hearing your voice on the subject, you know, because you represent so many people out there who are like yourselves, specialists, trainers who provide so much value, yet caught up on the video side. So it's really good to hear that side. Joe, we've had a load of comments that you've posted some things on the side about different types of video. Do you want to say anything about that?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting what Jayne was saying about kind of building up that. I was just sharing that I was going to some event in London. I thought, I know, I'll stop on a bridge, I'll do a recording of a little broadcast, I'm off to wherever, you know, St. Paul's in the background or whatever. And I just completely bottled it because I was on my own and didn't want to be the person standing there going, meh, in front of a camera, like pointing at myself. But I've been to Online Educate Berlin, CIPD, Learning Technologies, and I'm there with my brother who's doing the filming. And we're just literally walking around and just attacking people almost to get them into our live broadcast, and which includes Jayne, actually. I think I attacked Jayne at one point to do that. And that's an entirely different feeling. And then there are other videos I've taken at conferences and edited them on my phone, not even a big proper editing suite, and launched those as like 1 minute, 2 minute videos for people to get a sense of what's going on. There's so many different styles of video, and we can dip our toe in the water really cheap, really easy, and it doesn't have to be us on video. It can be our experience of an event.
Yeah, and Tracy was saying, Joe, that she found it really interesting that she says she's really nervous about networking, but's been more comfortable with the video side. So does that mean she's more comfortable with videoing herself as opposed to out networking, which is what you were saying, Joe? You're the other way. You prefer bringing other people into video and you don't like doing it just yourself on camera. So I don't know whether people have got different...
I think it depends so much on context is the issue. So I'm quite happy to gabble in front of a camera, no problem, whether it's direct on a webcam or something like this. I think for me, the part where I was on a bridge, that was I'm out in public doing this. And that was the bit that kind of got me. Doing it at a conference, I was with my tribe. And I think that was an interesting difference. And other people will have their versions of what they feel comfortable with. Yeah,
exactly. And I think obviously what we're saying is it's putting a camera in front of your face, and maybe some people are happy with all of that and some people are happy with none of that. But the point you were making, Joe, is you felt more comfortable when other people were involved and you were sort of doing it that way as opposed to, like you said, standing on it.
Had my brother been there, or Jayne or you holding the camera in front of me, I probably would have done it. But doing with my selfie stick going blah blah blah, I'm going here, that was the bit where I bottled it.
Well, it's because there's a bit more attention on you to provide instant value. You know, it's all on you. It's all or nothing, really. Maybe. I mean, I'm like that with pictures. I hate having somebody shining a camera at me and taking a picture. I prefer to be hugging people and having other people in the picture. So I don't know. I guess it's all our limiting beliefs, isn't it? And whatever we use as comfort blankets, as such. Has anybody been reading the questions? Are there any other questions there? Jack said, "I used to have no fear about." Oh no, we read that one, didn't we? And now I tend to stay in the background. Where I missed out on actually meeting people I want to meet and connect or grow my network. I mean, we've all got our silly things. She said, I missed out and I was afraid, but we've all done silly things like that, you know, which is, as Colin was saying, Jayne is so natural and she adds so much value when she speaks, yet it's her own thoughts that are just stopping her. Because like you said, Joe, it's all the things we're thinking that people can see, but they can't see it. they just see the good stuff that we've got to say.
And I think the other thing, one of the things Jayne and I have discussed, and probably other people feel this too, is that, you know, what if we say something wrong? What if we don't say the right thing? What if we forget to say something? And I've definitely been in those positions before. And again, it all depends on the context, whether it's live, pre-recorded, timing, all of those things. Sometimes you have an option to go back and refer to something. And you don't have to say, oh, I forgot to say this earlier. You can just say, well, summarizing from earlier on, or referring back to something you said previously, or something like that. And also, nobody knows what's going on here. They only see what's coming out. So it doesn't matter if I'm kind of going, crap, what was I going to say? Because if I just say, well, I think this is all I've got to say on the matter, and I'll hand over to Jayne, that's different. So I think it's partly, it doesn't matter what's going on here. It matters what comes out. And I've really learned that is a skill in its own right, rather than I've forgotten, I don't know, and so on. So with that, I will hand over to Jayne for her thoughts.
Oh, thank you. You just made me think about the e-learning network event last week. So the Good Practice were doing a video podcast, and I wasn't aware actually, but I saw them in the corridor, and Bethany was had the microphone. So I sort of walked past and, you know, giggled and sort of, you know, well, what you doing, you know, looking good sort of thing. And she said, come on, you know, have a go. And I was like, no, I saw the camera. I was like, no, I can't, and now I'm gutted because I missed the opportunity. And I really should have been a little bit more courageous, I guess, finding that sort of strength to, you know, whatever, let's just go and do this. And what could possibly go wrong?
Possibly go wrong, but actually, if it goes wrong, it's good, because
for failure.
We do, because this is so good. I'm happy to talk about this all day, and everyone's getting something from it. We've got 9 minutes to look at solutions. So, Jo, over to you.
I think a big solution is get on and do it.
Yeah,
it's really hard. There's all sorts of nuances and things that we can do, but the biggest thing is get over yourself and do it. I was really lucky that I worked at Turner Broadcasting, who owns CNN and Cartoon Network, and I got involved in internal videos, and so I had like CNN cameramen sort of working with me, and I kind of go, I'm really sorry, you know, I'm not a news anchor, I can't do this. But it was just really weird, the things that you had to do. Like at one point, there was a point where we're at the end of the video, they wanted people waving and smiling, and so I had to do this for about 4 minutes so that they could get the right 2/4 second moment to put in. And I'm kind of sitting there going this. And I think once you've done a few things and realized, you know, the earth didn't open up, you didn't die, maybe get some feedback of what you can improve, that's where you move on. But it's doing it and doing different things in different ways, getting the positive feedback. And as Jayne says, the working out loud thing is really positive, because most people, and I'm finding this with doing artwork actually, you know, is most people are going, that's really great, carry on, you're doing really well, you're improving. And I'm looking at it and going, oh, I think it's rubbish. But other people are really positive, and that gives me positivity. And it's just insert your topic here. That's my starter for 10, is get on and do it.
Excellent. And I have tried, I have started very slowly.
It's not that you're trying, you're
Thank you. And I must say it's through working or sort of sharing with everybody, because everyone has been so supportive and encouraging. And when you hear those words that, you know, Colin's very kind and said, you know, you're a natural, and, you know, why don't you do more? And it's through that encouragement that I'm so thankful for, that I am on camera today. And so, yeah, just doing it, I think, but also the feedback is really valuable. Colin, you offered to do me I was going to do a 1-minute video for you, which I've never got around to doing, because then, you know, you can point to the lighting or the framing, and so it's good to bounce ideas off of people and be open. I think for me, give it a go, be open, share, ask for feedback, and change if you need to.
Brilliant. And we have actually a question. Thank you both for answering that. And I do agree, it's literally just getting out there and using video on your phone, use Facebook Live. I mean, if you don't want to, like I said, if you get yourself a podcast channel like this, you can practice with great friends like Joe and Jayne, where we get to practice and we don't even have to post it live. So things like that are really great ways to practice, but mainly just recording it on your phone and then posting it to, because I think you can just post it direct to LinkedIn, can't you now? Different ways, and loads of technologies out there. But we've had a question from how much do you practice before you do a video or podcast versus spontaneity? So I'm going to press the start answering. So hopefully that should now provide the tag in our recording. So I would say, in answer to that, I generally use the green screen in Crowdcast to practice before a podcast. I invite the people on who I'm going to interview, and I do a bit of a preemptor interview with them as to what we're going to cover, so that they feel comfortable with me. We've got some chemistry and we've got some good questions. And Joe and Jayne, we did the same thing, whereby we sent emails to each other. We decide what we're going to chat about, come on early, go into the green screen, and then make it as natural as possible, I think is the key thing. But do you two, Joe, what do you do with some of the video that you use for your video? Do you practice a lot?
Yeah, it depends a little bit on the video. So if it's something that I want recorded on my website to tell people about a new community group, for instance, and this is how to use the platform, that's something that I'd plan and prepare, and I might do a couple of takes and then edit together the final version. So like Jayne was saying, it's the corporate kind of, not necessarily slick, but needs to be kind of smooth and professional. I think the other end of the spectrum is something like this, so we've planned the content and the general discussion, and also in the link that I shared a little bit earlier on with my videos from Online Educa Berlin, some of those were recorded and edited together, but some of those are literally like a Formula One grid walk, where I'm just walking around chatting to people, or maybe it's me and John from Training Journal doing a roundup of stuff, and that's kind of like, right, here's our 3 points we're going to talk about, let's go. And that's a little bit of spontaneity between people, and see where the conversation goes. And afterwards, sometimes we go, that wasn't so great, or I shouldn't have said that. And afterwards we go, yeah, that seemed to work pretty well. So I think it depends on what you're doing, but then the more you do of whatever one it is, or a breadth of those, you get more comfortable doing the others as well.
Yeah, and then you get to post it, and then find out if people are interested, and ask some questions to get some interaction. Because for me, the whole point of doing video is that it adds value, and also that people get to meet you, because then they get to see your face and they get to see what characteristics you like and how warm you are or funny you are. And
I think that's another key point with the video, and I know Jayne wants to answer this question too, probably, is that often, and it's a little bit like I talk about with my webinars and virtual classrooms, is we can't see the person. So I can see both of you on video today, but if I'm doing a pre-recorded video or I'm in a webinar, I can't necessarily see people. But the way I look at it is, when I'm looking at my camera or the video camera, I just try and think of it as I'm having a conversation. Literally, there's somebody there. So even if I say something funny, may not be right, but I'm going to go, because it's a light moment. I try and make it conversational, even though the conversation is with the lens. I just try and think, well, there's Bob's going to listen to this, or whoever it's going to be. I try and think of that as a person, and that really helps, rather than I'm just talking universally weirdly to no one who is going to listen to this. So I try and make it much more focused. But
that's a really good point, and that's what I do for my voiceovers. So I do voiceovers for clients' videos, and so I rather than just looking, I just need to have a picture of somebody, so to make it personal that I'm actually speaking to somebody. So I guess that works just as well for video.
You have a picture of somebody?
But yeah, I'm not telling you who it is.
Oh, is it like Brad Pitt or something?
Oh, no. It varies, depending on what mood I'm in. But it makes it more real.
I've embarrassed her now, Joe, haven't I? I mean,
I've gone a bit red.
Joe and I have Brad Pitt, don't we, Joe?
Oh, we've lost your video, your audio.
You've gone silent.
There you go. You see, and there's always technical problems at some point.
So who's your picture, Joe?
I don't have a picture. I just assume it's a person, but I might just assume it's Brad Pitt from now on. So if you see me, then you'll know why.
Colin said he used to put a picture on his screen when he first started doing live online or webinars.
Yeah,
it's a thing.
Who was your picture of, Colin? Pamela Anderson.
When I was working for Colin, we used to have all of our attendees' pictures we'd have beforehand. So I would print those out and stick those up on a screen. But Colin says it's Kate Beckinsale.
Oh, you like the dark, lustrous vampire.
Oh, Tracy, Matthew McConaughey. We're going in a whole place.
It's 1 o'clock, so we have to cut this short. So
that was probably a good time to finish.
But I hope that answered your question, John, because I pressed the answer question, and I will now press done answering. So I'm hoping we will have a tag to that answer to that question, and we can post it on social media and go, John was a star and asked us a question, and here's the question. So we're testing all this as we go, but hopefully that was all valuable to all of you. Please do keep asking questions on the thread. The thread is still open for another couple of minutes, or you can post it on our LinkedIn thread, which we've posted some things about the podcast up on LinkedIn and Twitter. But yeah, you've got all of our details of how to connect with Joe. Jayne, did you put how to connect with you as well if people want to ask you a question?
I did not, but I haven't got the link actually, but I'll just put my name in.
Okay.
I'm sure you'll find me.
You can find Jayne. There we go. And so you've got all our details on how to connect with us. Thank you so much for attending this How to Get Over Yourself with video, and hopefully there was some useful tips. And thank you, Joe, and thank you, Jayne. And thank you everyone for attending. And you can always come back to this link and watch the video again. It will be under the same link, so you can click the same link and you can come watch the recording. So thanks, guys.
Rachel, for asking us and organising it.
Yes, thank you, Rachel. And get out there and get on camera.
Yeah. Have a great day.
All right, bye.
Bye.